Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you another video. All right, so I'm sitting here listening to Trevor Lane. I'm listening to everybody talking about the Lakers and what the Lakers have to deal with coming up very soon. Yeah, how am I looking up here? Very soon in regards to the next 23 games, of course, to end the season and the standings and everything is real tight. So the Lakers obviously need to put themselves in a position to succeed. Um, where I left off at and what made me turn on the camera was just different aspects of the shooting guard position and how we were assessing it. Obviously, we've already said that we're cool here on this channel with starting Malik Beasley. I think it makes a lot of sense to have him in the starting lineup with LeBron James because of the ability to shoot the ball and the fact that that is really what is necessary ultimately for King James to succeed. We believe is to have shooters on the floor, space it as much as possible, pull those defenders away from him, and open up those lanes for him to do whatever it is he wants to do, create opportunities, play off AD, etc. So that's kind of what we're thinking. It's not necessarily about whether Malik Beasley would be the best shooting guard on the team. It's more so about who is the most necessary fit for LeBron James, and how do those circumstances ultimately allow us to level things out as the game progresses. In my mind, I'm thinking if you start, say for example, Austin Reeves, he'll be able to hit those shots, but he's not going to gain the same respect around the perimeter as Malik Beasley. So it's not the same space created in theory. Plus, if you're coming off the bench with Malik Beasley, at that point, you have to find ways of putting him on the floor with Bron, singling out rotations that have him next to Bron for the same reason as you want to put him in the starting lineup. So it's much more difficult to find minutes for him if you don't start him. Once you start getting into the meat and potatoes of the game and you start using other shooting guards and these guys start getting hot, start making plays for others, etc., it's going to be hard to get Malik Beasley on the floor. When do you call his number? So that's why you start him. That's another reason why you start him, because it puts you in a position to, by default, always have the ability to use it. Because if not, he may get lost in the rotation. And also, I think it's much easier for a guy like Lonnie Walker, Austin Reeves, and Dennis Schroeder and some of these other guys to help keep leads than asking a guy like Malik Beasley to come off the bench and possibly not defend as well, or maybe his shot is cold, and then from there you might have a situation where you're losing leads that you've established with that starting lineup. At least you know with Bron, AD, Beasley, and the guys that we're starting with, chances are we're going to get out to a nice start. And then from there, a guy like Austin Reeves, with his abilities, would be able to help us keep those leads. So that's how I see it in my head. It's a bit more easily structured to make sure that your team is keeping the production necessary as you sit AD down, as you sit Bron down, and they get in foul trouble, what have you. So that's one thing I'm looking at. Another thing I want to talk about is Austin Reeves on the defensive end. One of the reasons why I'm okay with us not starting him is because he tends to have issues guarding dynamic players. Now, I don't think that's going to be something he has a problem with his entire career. It's just about him getting his conditioning up, getting healthy and staying healthy, because he's always working back from some type of injury right now. He's coming back from the leg. So I think what I wanted to contribute to the conversation is him not being a great defender is an illusion. That's not the case. Where he makes up for it with foot speed, where his foot speed deficiency is made up, is in his ability to draw offensive fouls. This dude's one of the best players in the world at flopping. I'm just going to be honest with you. People don't really know it, but he does a significant job of selling contact and initiating contact. He's one of the best in the entire league at it. And so that's where he makes up for it. If you pay attention, yes, he may be getting cooked in certain situations as it pertains to people speeding past him. But if you also look at the other possessions that he's a part of defensively, you will often see him stopping those plays entirely by drawing an offensive foul. And it happens more than not. So we need to continue to utilize his intellect and have it be weighed against the speed issue. Because I promise you, a lot more times we are getting the stops, and it's because of that. It doesn't have to always be a stop where a guy misses a shot or send a guy to the line or something of that nature. No, sometimes the refs just give us the call, and when Austin Reeves is down there, 9 out of 10 times, he's flying all over the place. He's bumping off of people. People are hooking him. He's making it look as if people are hooking him, and they're calling it. And that's one of the issues that the Lakers has as a team. We don't often get our calls. He gets his. So we need to utilize that and understand how he helps us defensively in that way. Plus, when he's on the floor, you got extra possessions because he's always looking to rebound. He's always looking to fly out of nowhere. And when you consider the fact that we've added Vanderbilt, who, though we've talked much about his defense, his best superpower is rebounding. And that is where he's really going to help us. We should be one of the best rebounding teams in the league when you consider some of the rebounding players that we have on this roster right now. Mo Bamba, Wenyen Gabriel, AD, Bron James, Vando, and I think when you consider D'Angelo Russell, he's also someone that rebounds the ball very well. So this is something I'm looking at and I'm saying, okay, that should be a strength of ours out the gate. And when you consider Austin Reeves, when you sit down a guy like Vando, you definitely want a guy like Austin Reeves on the floor. So that interchangeable, circumstance with Vando starting and Austin coming off the bench, in my mind, kind of makes some sense because you're always going to have that offensive rebound threat on the floor at all times. And given the fact that we let go of Brody, we're going to need guys to make up for that. And we have the roster's players to do it. So this is something I want to kind of just throw out there right before the game here. Obviously, the Lakers tipping off against the Golden State Warriors here in LA. I've already talked about that. Encourage everybody to go check out the video on that that I made a little earlier today. But, these are 2 points that I think are important because a lot of times people are talking about how they don't want to play Austin because he's not able to defend. He's getting sped past. And I'm like, yeah, but you got to weigh that against them offensive fouls he be drawing. Like, he draws fouls a lot of the time and stops some of those offensive plays in their tracks. So that is something we're going to have to utilize. So that's what I want to say, man. Also, I'm not a defensive-minded basketball fan by any stretch of the imagination. I don't know of concepts or to tell you guys what works and what doesn't. I don't know. I listen to others. But I'm going to be watching tonight. We're playing against the Golden State Warriors. We've got Jordan Poole and, of course, Klay Thompson. Obviously, DiVincenzo and other players that are going to shoot the ball tonight. Does drop coverage work? Because we got 23 games left. I've heard the argument that drop coverage is not something we should probably be using all game long. It can tire a player out. It can put players in positions and not be able to get it done. Does it work, man? And if it doesn't work, can we get away from it? Can we drop the drop coverage? That's all I'm saying. If it doesn't work. I don't know nothing about nothing. I'm asking better basketball minds to just apply this logic. If it doesn't work, can we get away from it? That's all I'm saying. Can we drop the drop coverage? That's all I'm asking. That's pretty much all I got to say. Video 44. I thank you all for watching.